Let's start with the ones that just make your skin crawl and slowly work our way up to the ones that scientists genuinely wish did not exist. Number 10, the assassin bug. If you were designing a nightmare in a lab, you would probably end up with something that looks exactly like this. The assassin bug hunts by stabbing its prey with a long needle-like mouth called a rostrum. It injects a mix of enzymes that liquefies the insides of whatever it just stabbed, and then it drinks the soup. That alone would be bad enough, but the assassin bug does something even more disturbing with its victims. After it finishes eating, it stacks the empty exoskeletons of its prey on its own back as camouflage. Some species carry the corpses of up to 20 previous victims like a horrifying trophy shield. Scientists think this makes them look bigger to predators, but honestly, it feels more personal than that. Number 9. The bullet ant. The bullet ant lives in the rainforests of Central and South America, and it has one of the most painful stings in the entire animal kingdom. The pain is described as feeling like being shot, which is where the name comes from. Victims describe it as a burning, throbbing pain that lasts for a full 24 hours without stopping. But here is where it gets weirder. Some indigenous tribes in the Amazon use these ants as a coming-of-age ceremony for young men. They weave the ants into gloves with the stingers pointed inward, and the boys wear the gloves for 10 minutes. They have to do this ceremony 20 separate times to be considered a man. Some people cannot even move their arms for days afterward, and this is done voluntarily, on purpose, multiple times. Number 8. The giant centipede. If you have ever wondered what would happen if a snake had 100 legs and a bad attitude, look no further. The giant centipede can grow up to 12 inches long, and it eats basically anything smaller than itself. That includes lizards, mice, bats, and even small birds. The centipede climbs cave ceilings, hangs from the roof, and snatches flying bats out of the air with its front legs. Its bite delivers a venom so strong that it can cause severe pain, swelling, and heart problems in adult humans. Small children have died from centipede bites in parts of the Philippines and Hawaii. And here is the fun part. They are attracted to warm, dark places, which means they occasionally show up inside people's shoes, beds, and toilets. Number 7. The Tarantula Hawk. This one is a wasp, and its name comes from the fact that it hunts tarantulas. Let that sink in for a second. This wasp actively seeks out the biggest, hairiest spiders on Earth and picks a fight with them, and it wins every single time. The tarantula hawk stings the spider with a paralyzing venom that keeps it alive but unable to move. Then it drags the still conscious tarantula back to its burrow, and then it lays a single egg on top of the paralyzed spider. When the egg hatches, the larva slowly eats the spider from the inside out over several weeks, saving the vital organs for last so the spider stays alive as long as possible. The tarantula hawk itself has a sting rated as one of the most painful in the world. Entomologists literally recommend that you just lie down and scream if you get stung, because there is nothing else you can do. Number 6. The botfly. This one lives inside you. The human botfly is a large fly found across Central and South America, and it has one of the most disturbing life cycles in nature. The adult fly catches a mosquito and lays its eggs on the mosquito's belly. Then it releases the mosquito to do what mosquitoes do best, which is find a human to bite. When the mosquito lands on your skin, your body heat activates the botfly eggs, which hatch instantly. The larvae then burrow into the hole the mosquito just made and start growing under your skin. Over the next few weeks, the larva lives in a small cavity in your flesh, breathing through a tiny hole that pokes out to the surface. You can feel it moving. The only way to remove it is to suffocate it by blocking the breathing hole for hours until it comes to the surface. Some doctors just leave them alone and wait for the larva to crawl out on its own when it is ready. Number 5. The Tsetse Fly. The Tsetse Fly is native to Africa, and it is responsible for spreading a disease called sleeping sickness. It looks harmless, kind of like a normal housefly, but its bite delivers parasites that invade your nervous system. The disease progresses slowly. First you get fevers and headaches, then confusion, then extreme sleepiness during the day and insomnia at night. Eventually, the victim slips into a coma and dies if left untreated. Before modern medicine, entire African villages would be wiped out by tsetse fly outbreaks. The really cruel part is that the treatment for late-stage sleeping sickness is a drug called melarsoprol. Melarsoprol contains arsenic, and it is so toxic that around 5% of patients die from the treatment itself. You are literally choosing between the parasite and the poison, and hoping the poison finishes first. Number 4. The driver ant. Driver ants live in Central Africa and they move in massive columns of up to 20 million individuals at once. They do not build permanent nests. They are constantly on the move, hunting anything that gets in their path. When a driver ant column enters a village, the residents actually welcome them because the ants clear out every rat, cockroach, and pest in the area within a few hours. But that is only if you get out of the way in time. Driver ants have jaws so strong that African tribes use them as natural sutures. They hold the sides of a wound together, place a driver ant on the cut, and let it bite down. Then they twist off the body, leaving the head with its jaws locked in place like a permanent staple. The suture stays for days until the wound heals. Number 3. The Africanized Honey Bee. Also known as killer bees, these are a hybrid species that escaped from a Brazilian lab in the 1950s. A scientist was trying to breed a more productive honeybee by crossing European bees with African bees. The African bees escaped their enclosure and started spreading across South America, Central America, and eventually into the southern United States. What makes them terrifying is not their venom, which is basically the same as a normal bee. It is their behavior. A regular hive of European bees might send out a dozen defenders if you get too close. A hive of Africanized bees will send out thousands of them. They chase intruders for up to a quarter mile, and they do not give up until the target is dead or safely inside a building. Every year, dozens of people die from mass bee attacks in the Americas, and the range of these bees keeps expanding as the climate warms. Number 2. The Japanese giant hornet. This is the largest hornet in the world, roughly the size of your thumb, and it is a genuine nightmare. The Japanese giant hornet has a sting that some victims describe as feeling like a hot nail being driven into their flesh. Around 30 to 50 people die every year in Japan from these stings, but the truly terrifying thing about them is what they do to other bees. A small group of just 30 giant hornets can find a beehive containing 30,000 honeybees and completely destroy it in a few hours. The hornets do not sting the bees. They decapitate them. They chew off the heads of the entire colony, one by one, until every single bee is dead. Then they carry off the bee larvae to feed to their own young. Number 1. The Amazonian giant leech. Deep in the rainforests of the Amazon lives a species that grows up to 18 inches long. It is a leech, and unlike the small pond leeches you might picture, this one is longer than your forearm. It lives in muddy water, and it feeds on anything that steps into the pool. Cattle, deer, capybaras, and occasionally humans. Its proboscis, the tube it uses to feed, is about 4 inches long and razor sharp. It can drink up to 9 times its own body weight in blood in a single feeding. And here is the part that pushes it into number 1 territory. The Amazonian giant leech does not always attach to the outside of its host. It sometimes swims into the mouth or nose of a mammal drinking from the water and attaches to the throat, the sinus cavity, or in some cases even further down. There are documented cases of leeches being found inside human airways after someone drank from a jungle stream. Some victims did not even know they had one until it had been growing inside them for weeks. We do not think of leeches as terrifying because we grew up watching them in cartoons. But somewhere out there right now, in a muddy Amazon pool, an 18-inch giant is quietly waiting for something warm to walk into the water. The next time you decide to explore nature, remember that everything in this video is real. Everything in this video is alive right now, and everything in this video is closer to you than you would like to believe. Some of them are already in your neighborhood. Most of them are in every rainforest on the planet, and one of them might already be in your shoe. Sleep well.